So I've been getting questions asking how I mount the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 onto my camera. Now I started using this setup when I went to Japan because I wanted to take photos and videos at the same time. My buddy Frank suggested a setup just like this. So Frank actually used this kind of setup for his POV street photography videos. So if you're into those kind of videos, definitely go check them out. Now I used to use this kind of setup but with an action camera though, like this one over here, the DJI Action 2, which is actually my favorite because of how small it is. But I feel like the image out of the Pocket 3 is much better than the action camera, and the stabilization, especially like in low light, the digital stabilization action cameras can't really compete with the a real gimbal. But if you're gonna be shooting some bad weather like in rain or snow, definitely use like the action camera. Or if you're shooting something fast like F1, I definitely suggest the action camera too, because the gimbal on the Pocket 3 can't really keep up with a fast movement like that. Anyways, here are 3 setups that I use to mount the Pocket 3 onto my camera. So the first and easiest setup is using the Pocket 3 and something like this. It's a monitor mount, but you can also use something like a 1/4-20 cold shoe adapter. Basically anything that has like a 90-degree bend to it. And with this, you just mount the Pocket 3 onto the mount, and then just put that onto your camera. And there you go, that's the easiest setup right there. My problem with this though is that it makes the Pocket stick out really far, especially past the lens. But I haven't had any problems with it getting into any of my shots. Even if I put a 16-35 on here, no problem shooting with a 16. But yeah, it's an easy setup to use and it does what it needs to do. With this setup though, it doesn't get in the way of the viewfinder, so I can still use it without any problems. Here's how it looks like when I'm actually using the setup. Alright, so the second setup is going to use a few more parts. First, you need the Pocket 3, of course, and next you need an expansion adapter. This one here is from DJI. I'm going to put that on. Alright, so with the cold shoe adapter, it has the GoPro fingers on the back, so I can mount it onto this. This is the PGY-Tech quick release plate for action cameras. So you go ahead and put this on there. Alright, so there you go, it's the Pocket 3 with the expansion adapter and the quick release plate. So obviously with a quick release plate, you're going to need a quick release clamp. So this is one I'm using, also from PGY-Tech, of course. And in order to mount this to the camera, I need another cold shoe adapter. So I've got a pretty basic one here. So go ahead and put this on. Alright, there it is connected. And let's go ahead and put it on the hot shoe of my camera. And there it is mounted onto the hot shoe of my camera. Now with the Pocket 3 and the quick release plate, just go ahead and snap it on there and ready to go. Let's go. Turn it on. So what I like about this setup is that it's really easy to detach and reattach the Pocket 3 when I need to. So I can be out shooting my POV stuff, but if I want to capture with just the Pocket 3, I can just quickly detach it and start shooting like that too. The problem with this setup though is that it sits pretty high, as you can see. So it's not really getting the view of what you see out of your photo camera because it sits so much higher. Also with this setup, you can still use a viewfinder, but you probably have to take off the little adapter piece on the bottom so you don't bump your head into it. And other than that, it works. And yeah, here's how it looks like when I'm out and using the setup. That photo sucks. And finally, the last setup, which is probably my favorite to use, uses the expansion adapter again. So let's go ahead and put that on real quick. And then I'll mount this onto my camera using a GoPro cold shoe adapter. Let's go ahead and put that on. Right, there it is with the adapter attached. And let's go ahead and put that onto the camera. And there you go, there's the setup. So yeah, like I was saying, this is my favorite setup, but it does have a few problems though. First off, if I want to take it off real quick, start shooting with it, I actually have to take it out of the expansion adapter. There you go. And then my camera's stuck with this thing on there. Next, if I want to use the viewfinder, this gets in the way. Even if I take off that little base adapter on there, I still hit my head on the bottom of the Pocket 3. So with this setup, I mostly have to use the screen to take photos. What I love about this setup though is that I can use the Pocket 3 like a handle for my camera. So it's easier to take videos and point at what I want to compared to the other two setups. Now I know what you're thinking, is it going to damage the hot shoe? Now, I don't use this setup with heavy lenses. Like what I got on here right now is a Sony 35GM, and this is probably the heavy setup I would go with. Like I'm not gonna put my 16-35 on here because this is a heavy lens, and I would be worried about the stress and all the weight on it. But with this lens and anything smaller than this, personally, I'm not worried about the hot shoe breaking or anything like that. Like I swing this thing, like I use this all around Japan, swinging my camera like this, dangling on the side, and I haven't had any problems with it. Not gonna say it's not gonna break it because obviously it can break the hot shoe if you put too much stress on it, but I'm not too worried about it. And in fact, companies make top handles that actually connect to the hot shoe, so if they think it's fine, it should be alright, right? Alright, so here's how it looks like when I'm out shooting with this setup.
Thank you.
Love the color.
Thanks.
But yeah, when I was in Japan, this is the setup I did use the most, and if I needed to film on something, I know it's not really easy to take off real quick, so I would just hold my camera like this and film myself like that. It worked. Anyways, all the products that I talked about in this video will be linked down below, and if you have any questions about any of these setups, just let me know. Now the problem with all three of these setups that is fine if you're taking horizontal or landscape photos, but once you go vertical, it doesn't really work so well with the Pocket. But my buddy Frank figured out a way to make it work by like tilting the Pocket 3 and adjusting the camera. It was too much for my lazy to figure out. No, but seriously, he did figure out a way to get the setup to work in landscape and portrait mode, so if you have any questions on how he's getting that to work, go bug him and don't tell him I sent you. No, you know what? No, tell him I sent you. I like to annoy that guy. See ya.